And it is Friday, and week 0 has arrived. Is that possible? I think so. That's what I read somewhere today. Good afternoon. Welcome in. Next week, we will be on site as we hope to be for the next, I don't know, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 weeks, however many is necessary. Good afternoon, and welcome in. Big news yesterday as we were wrapping things up. The SEC announcing finally going to 9 games, and we have the commissioner on with us explaining all the different reasons, and there are a number of them. It begins in 26. The schedule, according to Commissioner Sankey, should be out by December. It will continue to have a single standings, meaning no divisions. Each school will play 3 annual opponents. That is a great topic of conversation everywhere today. And the schools, 6 remaining, will rotate among the conference schools. Each school will face every other SEC school pretty quickly. We put out a tweet today with the SEC going to 9. Tell us your team and which rivals you would like to see locked in. Whether you want them or not may not be the way it ends up, but there will be a great deal of speculation. Meanwhile, I mentioned week 0. This time tomorrow, we will be in the fourth quarter of Iowa State and Kansas. Not quite Georgia Tech and Florida State from a year ago, or maybe it will be. They're both ranked. They both are considered reasonable Big 12 teams, even though Arizona State might be ahead. Meanwhile, tonight on ESPN, a 1-hour special honoring Lee Corso. By now you have heard the legendary 90-year-old Corso will do his final game day a week from tomorrow in Columbus, exactly where it began many, many years ago. Meanwhile, you may have heard about this as well. Pretty hard to miss. ESPN streaming service has arrived, ushering in a new era of the bundle. Brian Curtis is a media expert. At least that's what his resume says. He's a friend of ours from way back. He does the Press Box podcast. And Brian, it is so great to see you. And how are you?
Nobody I'd rather spend week 0 with, Paul. I'm doing great.
So I'll start there, Brian, because I don't tell anyone, but I'm not overly excited by this game tomorrow or the slate, and something tells me you're not either. Bad football, better than no football, but what's up with week 0? Why can't it be better?
Yeah, excited isn't the word I would use. Maybe an inkling of excitement. You know, there's a lot of sickos out there, Paul, and I mean that term both in the specific and general sense that will watch any college football game. I think I'll have it on tomorrow, but that's about as much as I can promise you.
And listen, the NFL has perfected. They've had games in Mexico City. They've been in Germany, England many, many times. There's rumors about a Super Bowl in London, probably more than rumors. But college football hasn't really put its toe out there very much. We asked Greg Sankey the other day about that, and it's complicated because of scheduling. You can't really do it once the season begins unless you have an off week. But do you think these games have worked, and do you think there's any reason to have more of them?
Well, the one thing they could do is replace the annual bowl trip, which was such a rite of passage in college football for so long. You know, hey, we're in the Holiday Bowl. That's kind of cool, but we get to go to San Diego or we get to go to some exotic city. What if we, with bowls diminishing in importance, just forwarded that to the first game of the regular season or week 0? Maybe that's fun for alums more than anybody else. I could see it working that way.
It's not a bad thought. And listen, I'm sure there'll be a committee formed, and they'll get back to us in a couple of years on that. Before we change gears, just the college football season. I mean, you're a fan. We've had many conversations with you over the years. Have you heard about Arch Manning? I don't know if that word has reached you yet on the West Coast. I know you go east to west a lot. But beyond that, what are you looking forward to the most about this season that actually does begin next week?
Well, first of all, I got to take issue with you, Paul, because you're really reminding me of the way Beano Cook used to talk about Ron Powlus and he was going to win a couple of Heismans in Notre Dame. You were absolutely setting Arch Manning up for failure at Texas this year by saying the best college quarterback since Tim Tebow. And I'm going, this is stuff message boards never forget. You realize that. You may look like a prophet at the end of this, but I'm a little worried, Paul, both for my football team and for you in particular there. I mean, first of all, I'm excited that we are starting this thing off in week one with that kind of bang, Texas versus Ohio State. Like that is the regular season important game we're told doesn't exist anymore. It's the aggressive non-conference scheduling we're told doesn't exist anymore. It may not exist now that the SEC is going to 9 regular season games. I'm excited about that. I'm a little worried about Texas's offensive line. I'm a little worried about their running backs. But to me, this is about as excited as any Texas fan's been since the Mac Brown glory days, such as they were.
And you have a certain affinity to Texas. I vaguely remember from a few meals with you, but that's okay. You brought up Mac Brown. It seems like a long time ago when Mac roamed the sideline. So, what in terms of Arch Manning, though, Brian? I've learned over the years, just say stuff in the summertime, and you can always wipe it away later with a shrug.
You've made a lucrative career out of that, Paul. Let me tell you something. As somebody who was sitting in the stands with my alma mater, watching them lose to Georgia during the regular season last year, a miserable game for Texas. The only spark that went through that stadium that entire night was when Arch Manning briefly came to the game. You remember Ewers was so ineffective, Quinn Ewers, that is, in the first half of that game. And everybody just like it just stands up a little straighter, gets a little bit more excited. He has that effect. I definitely think he is Tebow-esque in that way, where there's just something about him that makes you excited, whether it's his surname, whether it's the brief glimpses of him we got last year. And I'll never forget that very first game when he came into mop-up duty for Texas, and he had to actually do like this with his hands and quiet the crowd as he's entering a game that is long since over. I mean, that is the Arch Manning phenomenon in one moment.
Explain Texas to us, because it's easy to make fun of Texas fans, which we do. Not as much as we used to, I might add. But I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, but you're one of them. You're also a very highly thought of, objective critic of all things. But what's it like being a Texas fan, and why are you people so over the top?
We deserve to be made fun of. I mean, look, nothing has happened in Texas football for 20 years. And yet every time you went to a Texas message board, which I'm a member of at least one of those fine institutions, they'd be, beating their chests about how much money Texas was making, and how they were running things and changing conferences or threatening to change conferences. And as an alum, as a fan, I was like, that sounds great, but why don't we win some football games? And then everybody like Finebaum will stop making fun of us. And then we actually get some hardware. And, getting to the semifinal was a huge jump forward, but there's work left to do, let us say.
Brian Curtis with us. He does the Press Box podcast for The Ringer. Brian, you've probably have written and talked about College Game Day as much as anybody in the legitimate media world. And tonight, ESPN doing a tribute to a 90-year-old. You don't get most 90-year-olds do not get tributes because they're not really even around, or if they are, they're not particularly relevant. Explain Lee Corso to somebody who just landed from Arkansas.
I'll give you 2 thoughts about him that I think are really important to think about right now. One is that the great story about Lee Corso, of course, is he's coaching at Indiana. He has a coach's show, which, Paul, you'll love this. It ran opposite Meet the Press in Indianapolis on Sunday mornings. That's just one of my favorite facts in the world. What a choice for viewers. But, of course, the great story is Indiana's on a losing streak. Corso finds a coffin backstage that's being used for some children's show at this station. And he pops out of the coffin on his show and he says something like, "We're not dead yet." And when he gets to ESPN and Game Day, he would bring that same kind of local TV aesthetic, that shamelessness, if you will. I mean, think of what ESPN was in 1987 when Corso starts on Game Day. I mean, forget Game Day itself. ESPN was not important. And he was the guy on that show going, hey, we can talk about college football, we can be smart, all that stuff. We have to get attention. We have to do something to get people to watch us every week. So that's number one. And I'd say number 2 with Corso, and I think people forget about this, is that he had a little bit, I understand I'm insulting 2 people with this statement, he had a little bit of Paul Finebaum in him. Like, he was a guy who would light up other coaches. He was that rare ex-coach who goes on TV and isn't just trying to get another job. He's actually willing to criticize members of his brethren. I don't think you saw that so much in the last 15 or 20 years, but early on, that was a big deal, for somebody to go out there and be willing to say, this is my job now. I'm not just hanging out. I'm not just, patting my friends on the back, but this is something I take seriously.
Brian, before you go, you wrote a piece about the president of ESPN recently, and it's been hard to miss whether it's Jimmy Pitaro, the head of ESPN, or Bob Iger, the head of Disney, or any number of personalities promoting this new direct-to-consumer. I realize to some people seems like another expense, but you've done a really deep dive on this moment in time, which is a fairly important moment. In fact, Pitaro said it was perhaps the most important moment in the company's history. Explain it to the rest of us.
Well, I think a couple of things stand out. One is it just, if you remember the old days of ESPN when Lee Corso was joining the network, ESPN was not a place people came to watch great games. It was a place people came to watch SportsCenter anchors and other analysts talk about games. I think that's really flipped under Jimmy Pitaro because he's been able to bring so many great games to ESPN. I also just think we're in a new world now. ESPN's not thinking like a television channel, what in the business we call a linear network so much anymore. It's an app. It's on your phone. And, that has a whole different kind of thinking. We saw this deal go through with the NFL network. We've heard in terms of college football, hey, maybe ESPN will have a red zone for the SEC or for college football generally, a cool toy that you can watch on Saturday mornings. And you don't have to wait for Nicole Auerbach or Stuart Mandel to tweet, hey, there's this good game going on. Go over there and change the station. It's just to me like a fascinating moment in this company's history. And I think a lot has changed already. And I think a lot about ESPN will change going forward.
Brian Curtis, always a pleasure to visit with you. Be well. Hope to see you soon. And the eyes of Texas are definitely upon you this year. Great to hear from him. Let's go.
All right, where you want to go to, Paul, and that is the championships, where you just make them up or whatever. And right now, Auburn has dominated the talking circuit that is Paul Finebaum and everybody else here in the Southeast because of now they having national championships that are just being floated back up there. And once you put them in the stadium, everybody's really going to question, what are we really doing here? I don't know if they earned them. And look, I'm an Alabama guy. Everybody knows that, Paul. And, being Auburn, being the small, well, not even the smaller school, but the school that has not won as much as Alabama, I feel like I'm punching down by talking about this. So I'm going to try to refuse to talk about this. With all due respect, though, Auburn, this is probably not the hottest move to make right now.
Yeah, I can't remember what how many years in a row it's been since how long it's been since they've had a winning season.
Oh, I don't even know.
I'll double check on that.
I just know they were in the Birmingham Bowl last year, correct? The Birmingham Bowl last year? Or the year
before? Were they in a bowl game last year? They didn't make a bowl game.
They did make a bowl game.
The year before they were in the Birmingham.
The year before they were in the Birmingham Bowl.
Maybe it was the year before that. No, the year before. 2 years ago they were in the Music City Bowl and lost to Maryland by about 50 points.
Yeah, okay.
And
then the year after that, that was
one of those.
Hugh Freeze's first year. They went to the Birmingham Bowl, and that's not bad.
You're
it's
actually
just a short
forcing
trip.
me to do something I don't like to do, and that's research.
And so some people don't even understand that far back, which is just 25, 30 years ago.
You're saying this doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter.
So what does matter?
Winning. You have to go win. Auburn fans are yearning for greatness. They've seen Alabama continue to grow. They see that Alabama's head coach, who was a problem for them, moved on. He wasn't just a problem for Alabama, for Auburn. He's a problem for everybody. Mm-hmm. And Nick Saban, he moved on. Alabama seems like they're ripe for the picking if you're Auburn. And right now, Auburn has recruited well the last couple years. And anytime Auburn has been good, they've gotten players that Alabama has wanted coming out of high school. That has happened at Auburn. They got to transition this not only from recruiting, but now to get them the wins that they deserve or the fans feel like they deserve. And right now, I feel like Hugh and those guys are trying to work towards that, but they got to earn it on the field.
Welcome back, and Andre from Atlanta starts it off for us on a Friday afternoon. Hello, Andre.
Coach Paul Finebaum, what do you think about the 9-game schedule, Coach Finebaum?
Andre, I have always been a major proponent of it, so I thought it was great. I really like the fact that the SEC schools are also required to play a G4 school, a Division 4 school, not a G4. But I think to me that makes sure that we have good games. You can't just do what a couple of schools do and play a bunch of tomato cans.
Hey, yeah, you're right. Now, for LSU, 3 permanent rivals, I would like to have, I'd like to keep Alabama, Texas, and probably Florida, Coach, or Tennessee or Auburn. Any of those 3 in any combination would be great for LSU. I know Arkansas is right there above it, and Texas A&M is right next door, but I think that any of those schools would be Alabama, Florida, and Texas would be major draws. The Auburn for LSU. What say you, Coach Finebaum?
Yeah, Andre. We both have been around long enough to remember that LSU Auburn game, which was often early, was a major monster game, and that game has you don't see that game very often.
Hey, Coach, Rick Neuheisel insinuated that the reason why the SEC went to 9 games was financial. He's insinuating that the conference is hurting for money, and that's why they did it. What do you say about that?
Well, listen, I don't. I haven't heard his show in about 10 years, so I'm not sure why he would say that. It is a fact. It's been reported that every school is going to make about $5 million. I don't think $5 million is going to change anybody's lifestyle in the SEC, Andre. To me, they did it because it was the right thing to do, and you can't expand the playoff right now without guaranteeing the SEC something, and I think that was the trade-off. That we'll see an expanded playoff, and there'll be some guarantees with 16 schools. An SEC school then could lose 3 games, maybe even 4, and get in the playoffs. Right now, that's not going to happen.
Hey, Coach, I want you and the Finebaum Nation to have a great weekend and be safe. And thanks for taking my call, Coach Finebaum.
Andre, it is always great to talk to you. We'll talk soon. Old School is up next from Mississippi.
Paul, how you doing?
Good afternoon.
Well, you having a good day?
Yes, I am. Thank you for asking.
Or you want to ask me if I'm having a good one?
No, I really don't. I'm not all that interested.
I'm not having a good one. I'm not having one. You remember back in 1955, Paul Finebaum? There was 2 summer babies born, wasn't there?
Yeah. By the way, Old School, we heard this the other day. Is there anything new since you rambled on about that? Yeah,
that's something new. One of those babies turned out to be honorable, respectful, wouldn't lie, do that, and the other one turned out to be a little lying, backbiting weasel. You know which one is which?
Boy, so we're talking between the 2 of us. Which one of us is a backbiting, low-life weasel? I would have no idea.
A low-life, backbiting weasel. And the other one turned out to be honorable, with integrity, moral fiber. And the other one, you can't ever tell what you go to. Since I've known the other one, hell, I've seen 3 different ones. I'm just wondering how many more is up in there. You tell me you're not going to do something, you do it. Then you start attacking my fans. That last
hey, old school. Old school. Calm down, okay? This is not your podcast. If you've got something to say to me, say it. Don't beat around the bush. Don't play games. Just spit it out. What do you got to say?
Spit it out. I'll spit it out. I want a formal apology from me and from my fan base. They didn't deserve that.
First of all, Old School, I don't know what I would be apologizing for, since I have no idea who you are.
because you looked down your throat, your nose last night, looked at me like, who's your fan base? Dude, I got a fan base. I'm just saying, can't you, because you was born in 55, can't you at least be honoring me and telling me you think I'd lie to you, bro? They're pissed off.
Old school number one. I'm not really looking to lie to anybody. You act
You
like
lied to me, bro.
I'm supposed
what are
to
you
know.
talking about?
I lied to you?
You did it. What do you call that? You call that a lie, a white lie? What do you call it? You lied to me, bro. I got it in
didn't even hear
evidence. I got evidence on it.
Oh, are we
You
in
tell
court
me
here?
one thing. It's like you jumped in whatever tree. That's how you turn. That's the color you turn. Come on, bro. Come on, man. I thought you
Hey,
was
old
rolling
school.
with
First
me,
of all,
man.
old school. Old school. I got a name. It's not bro. Okay.
It's bro to me. You my little bro. I'm 45 days older than your ass.
Well, that's
I thought I had a
fantastic, old
brother.
school.
When
But
I come, you
why
have to
don't
make
you
another
why don't you
brother,
tell
but it don't look
me?
like it's gonna work out like that.
Why don't you take a breath, number one, and tell me how I lied to you?
You told me the other day. I asked you. See, Squirrel busted your ass. Let me say something about Squirrel. I love Squirrel. You know why? Because he's supposed to know him pretty good. You ought to listen to him. Because you told me. I asked you. I said, "Is ESPN doing that, or do you do it?" "Oh, it's ESPN." And then you told Squirrel. Hey, Squirrel said, "Why didn't you tell him you'd over those phone people?" "I didn't want to tell him." "That's a lie." What do you call that? What do you call that, Paul Finebaum? What do you
Old school.
call it?
I don't even. I don't even know what you're talking about.
No, homie. That ain't gonna work with me. No. You said it.
Now I'm a homie.
You said it. Don't play that role with me, bro. You said it. You lied.
By the way, is homie in this southern lingo of yours? Is homie subterranean to bro?
So, homie is whenever you know what, you got a little homie. That's what you are right now. You know what you are? You like a little Kim Kardashian. You like that little girl that goes get everything ready for that Hilton girl. You set up the flowers and confetti. You tell people stuff like me, and then you go right when you think I'm away. And I'm sitting there watching your ass, and you sit there and laugh. He was on hold for 2 hours and 13 minutes. I wish it had been 4 hours. What the hell's that all about, bro? What's that all about? What's that to get a damn
First of
laugh?
all, old school. This is a public show for 4 hours every day. I'm not going hiding, saying anything. Whatever I say is going out over the national airwaves. So it's not like I'm trying to say something behind your back. The one thing
I'm going to say it. You wait till I'm going to say it, and then I can't.
Well,
respond
I'm
to
not.
it.
By the way, I'm old school. If you take a breath, I'm not waiting anymore. Number one, I still don't know who you are. I don't know why you're upset. I don't know why you're accusing me of lying. So why don't you, in a nutshell, maybe very concisely, because we need to go to a break, tell us what this is all about, okay? End the mystery.
It's about you, brother. It's about honor. It's about moral fiber. It's about standing up as a man. Walk around the mud puddle, not do it, bro. Your shoes are wet. If you tell a man something, do it. Stand by it. Don't wait till another caller comes on there, and then you let the man talk about somebody, and you don't say a damn word. Not nothing. Sit there and you guilty, bro. If you listen to it, you guilty. If you drive the damn car that robs the bank, you going to get charged too, bro.
We had to cut him off because he broke the decency barrier. We will take a break after that. I'm a homie and a bro, and we're coming right back with more. Effect where the league stands on the CFP expansion.
There are multiple chickens and plenty of eggs, right? So is it the chicken or the egg? Do you decide the format and then trigger your schedule off of the format? Do you decide the criteria, then follow with the schedule, or do you take a step knowing that there's a bit of uncertainty in whatever you do? So, Paul, the announcement of the strength of schedule adjustments and I think a healthier metric being used to inform decision making, that's an element that weighed in favor of the 9-game conference schedule being implemented. I don't consider that number, that metric, that information being just a finish line. I think the discussion around strength of record, so not only how rigorous a schedule do you play, but how do you perform against that schedule? That's important to us as well, and that work is being done. What I think we have to acknowledge is the CFP process has said don't lose. I don't think that's healthy for college football, and the ability to take this step to say it's more than just don't lose. It's about playing quality, high quality opponents, that being honored. Yes, you have to win games. That's some of the work that needs to progress. That's where we have made some progress, but we haven't reached that perfection stage. And I'll be interested to see how the CFP selection committee continues to adapt, how the protocol continues to adapt. We then go to format. So what's the right number of teams? Last year, I think 12 was the right adjustment. I think at the time that it was made, people thought, wow, that's a lot, but 12 worked last year. 12's in place this year. We've got a short runway to adjust. Otherwise, and I'll be clear about this, I've said this in other venues and in other speaking engagements, if we don't change anything, if we can't agree to a different number, then we're at 12 and 26. That's clarity. Whether you agree with that number or not, it's a different conversation. And then how do we vet ideas? We have to understand the impact of other ideas. And I think there's a lot of work to be done before you could just move into some of those categories. But I'll go back to say from a conference standpoint, we would support moving to 16. We would support maximizing the at-larges, which by contract or by agreement, we have 5 conference champions. And so that 11-team at-large model within a 16-team format still looms large in our thinking.
How about this? A week from tomorrow morning, it begins with the boys at 9 a.m. Marty and McGee. SEC Nation, another year is about to start, and we do it live from Atlanta. Chris is up next in South Carolina. Chris?
Paul, I apologize in advance. Paul, old school. I wish you had put me on the phone with old school, because old school, I want you to listen up. We ain't Finebaum Nation. Chris in South Carolina ain't going to tolerate this disrespect. Lose this number until you can address our host the way you need to address them. His name to you is Mr. Finebaum, Paul, the mouth of the South, or the college football guy. That's what you need to address him as. But I'm going to tell you something, old school, since you like to remember dates. You remember August the 22nd, 2025, when Chris from South Carolina said he don't care if you Dixie Crystal, Dixie Mafia, Mafia Dixie, I don't care what you are. If you keep on acting like this, you can write my number down, 864-934-1894. And you can call me, you can put that appointment, because I'm going to show up to the gate. We ain't going to tolerate this, old school. I don't care how old you are. You're going to show some respect, because this ain't how you do things and how you conduct business on this show. Quit coming in here. We don't care. I don't care if you're famous. You got just enough fans at Elliot's website. That's how many fans you got. So you need to straighten up, because I'm telling you, I don't like this. And Chris was talking about to talk, I walk. You have a nice day, Paul.
Thank you very much, Chris. Jace is up next in Georgia. Jace, good afternoon.
Hey, Paul. I was just wanting to discuss Georgia's 9-game schedule. I would think that we would still play Tennessee, Florida, and, of course, the oldest SEC rivalry, Auburn. And I would think that our out-of-conference schedule would probably be Georgia Tech. I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, no, listen, I think what people have to understand is just because we all like these games and are used to them, every one of these rivalries are not going to hold up, because they're I can tell you right now unequivocally Georgia will play Florida and they will play Auburn, but I don't think the third game is automatic, because you can't every schedule has to be weighted a certain way, and how much can you put on Georgia to play? Right now, it may not be a big deal because Auburn and Florida have not been quite as good as they used to be. But ultimately, there's going to be some really weird combinations here. I don't know. I'm guessing every school is they're going to sit around and go, okay, who rank your rivals in terms of who you have to play, and somewhere, I mean, I think every school is going to be pretty well guaranteed one or two, but every school doesn't have automatic rivals like Georgia and Auburn and Alabama. Jay, thank you very much for the call. Debbie is up next in Connecticut. You're on the air. Hello, Debbie.
Hey there, Paul. How are y'all doing today?
We are doing great.
Oh, awesome. So excited about the start of the football season. And I am part of a family and friends group. It's like an SEC stats competition challenge that we do every year. Each week, we pick which teams are going to win, and we also have a props bet. And to start the season, I'm hoping that you're going to participate this year and call out your answers, and then we're going to have we're going to score some points based on our thoughts at the end of the season. Are you ready?
We'll do our best.
Okay. All right. It's an easy one. So most of us are Georgia fans, and so we're still looking at what seems like the train wreck of Carson Beck and all the interceptions from last year. So I want to focus on who do you think will have more interceptions this year, Carson Beck or Gunnar Stockton?
I'm going to say Carson Beck.
We love that answer. Okay. Can you tell me how many interceptions? He had 12 last year. How many do you think it'll be this year?
I think he's going to throw more because he's going to be under a lot of pressure. I'm going to say 15.
Oh, okay. I like that answer too. All right. So that's going to do it. I'm going to put that in for our team, and we're going to do like an over-under on your number, and we're going to have a disagree or agree with your pick.
Can't wait. Hey, thank you very much. Pat is up next in Georgia. Hey, Pat, go right ahead.
Hey, Paul. I sure am glad I Dr. Peppered my Jim Beam after listening to Old School. I don't know what to think.
Man.
Let's frame this from a perspective of a 76-year-old who's been paying attention since about 1961. I'm glad we've got 9 conference games, and I'm thinking that with the playoff situation, that the SEC Conference Championship may have played its role, and we don't need that anymore. And I'm not thinking from a money standpoint in any of these observations. I'm glad we can replace one of our 3 cupcakes with an SEC team. I would want to keep Georgia Tech, whether they were in a Power 5 conference or not. And I'd like to add another Power 5 game, or if not another Power 5 game, then one of these rivalry games with the Big Ten or with the ACC or the Big 12, and get it down to just one cupcake, and to help some schools' athletic department, and play that the first game of the year. And I think Florida, Auburn, and South Carolina, I'd like to see those be our 3 permanent games. I've experienced the rivalries with all 3 schools, and I remember when South Carolina came into the conference. If it's not South Carolina, then perhaps Kentucky.
Well, thank you very, very much, Pat. It's always great to hear from you. Be well. We'll talk soon. We are heading to a break. We have a number of other guests that will be joining us soon, and more of your phone calls as well. It's Friday afternoon.